The majority of the Deep South, and especially college football fans, despise the institution that is the NCAA. And you might wonder, where does the majority of the money that the NCAA makes come from? And that answer might surprise you. Tim Brando gives us a breakdown and a history of the NCAA and why the NCAA doesn't make as much money as you think on college football right now on the Stingray Show.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Those of you on Tide 100.9, look out. You're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, a.k.a. Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee.
You know, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate
that.
No,
I mean, look, no.
Hey, Stingray, here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good. It's kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah. But then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, to everyone in Tuscaloosa listening here on Tide 100.9, with the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
Do you currently have a bass fishing lake, but you're not happy with the size of bass that are coming out of the lake? Springtime is the perfect time to stock your lake with fish that will help you grow larger bass. Currently, right now, from Honey Hole Fisheries, they can offer threadfin shad, copper-nose bluegill, minnows, golden shiners, and tilapia to help grow larger bass in your lake. You can contact Honey Hole Fisheries at 205-799-0192. Once again, that is 799-0192. Honey Hole Fisheries also offers Texas Hunter fish feeders. Contact him today to grow bigger bass in your dream lake. And with that, I want to welcome you inside another edition of the Stingray Show. Here is our guest this evening, the one and only, the guy who coined the phrase, "How do you do?" Mr. Tim Brando. Timmy B, how are things with you in Louisiana?
Well, it's the sun's coming out. It's been a little cooler since the front came through, but the winds have died down, thankfully, and the water hopefully will begin to subside a little bit. Golf course is a little too wet for me to play, and as you can tell, I know we're on the radio in Tuscaloosa, but for those of you that tune in and see some of us on the tube, I've donned my green from the Masters because it is Masters week.
Oh yeah.
And like everybody else, I'm Masters crazy and golf crazy this time of year. We have our azaleas abloom, and actually, I was impressed that after I got back from Vegas, where I was working the Crown, that other postseason tournament last week, our azaleas are still up. The wind didn't blow them all down here. You know, the event was more of a I-20 North event than an I-20 South, which was great for us because we didn't have nearly the wind. We got a lot of rain, but we didn't get nearly the wind that other parts of Tornado Alley and just beneath Tornado Alley got. So the golf course, once it dries out in a day or two, well, let me put it to you this way, Stingray. Okay. Tomorrow morning, I'm teeing it up. Okay. Tomorrow morning, I'll be teeing it up. Yes. It might be cart paths only, but that's not a problem. I'll walk anyway. So yes. I'm good to go. And I'm feeling good. My wife was, as you know, a little bit under the weather. That's why I didn't go to the Final Four this year.
Right.
After I got back from Vegas, and I hated missing it. But I've only missed 4 in the last, well, going back to 1981. So when you're looking at 39 years, it's a long time. 40 some odd years, I've only missed 4. So that's not bad. I was able to watch from distance and still enjoy it.
Tim, I do have to ask you, because of that week, this was a huge topic and I'm talking about going into the Sweet 16. The transfer portal opened, and there were a lot of teams that were going into the Sweet 16 that were losing players because they were entering the transfer portal. Tim, how do we fix the transfer portal of opening in college basketball and during the NCAA tournament and not waiting until after it finishes?
Coaches and commissioners and everyone involved with the conferences has just got to tell the NCAA to get the hell out of our way.
Yes.
That's it. The NCAA continues to undermine the thing that matters most to them financially. I mean, why would you do that to yourselves? I thought Tom Izzo's press conference sort of said it all. When he basically said, Hallman, the kid that was giving him a big hug in the aftermath of losing that game to Auburn, the next day puts himself in the portal. It's like, really? This is what we're reduced to?
Right.
I mean, it's just a bad look all across the board.
Right.
And now the NCAA would come back and say, yeah, but there are only 16 teams in the Sweet 16. We've got still over 300 Division I teams that have to put together their rosters for the future.
Right.
Okay, I'm like, so it can't wait a couple of more weeks? Huh? No, well, because Portsmouth's coming up in the NBA. I don't give a damn what the NBA's needs are.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
I could care. Why should you care about what the NBA's needs are?
Yes.
The hell with them. They're not doing anything to help you.
Right.
So the coaches have just got us. Everybody's yelling and screaming and talking about what they need in terms of expansion. Like that. There's specific talk now that it's going to move from 68 to 78 or 76 or whatever the hell it's going to be. That's bogus. That's we don't need that.
No.
What we need is more stability with the teams that we have.
Yeah.
And we don't need the portal to be open at this stage.
Right.
Players should not have that, and it's not the players' fault. I mean, again, fans don't tend to understand that the NCAA is a neo-colonial outfit that operates really on the basis of making money for themselves and only themselves. Now, as you and I are speaking today, there's a court ruling coming down in Oakland, California, that could change the complexion of college athletics as we know it for a long time to come, as it relates to, players being paid not only by the schools, in rev share, but also the money that they can get elsewhere.
Right.
We're talking billions of dollars in lawsuits, and a judge is about to make a decision that's going to impact all of that. And the death of the NCAA is looming.
Yeah.
But the only thing saving it at this stage is their current contract for the men's college basketball national tournament. That's what funds all of their championship sports. 80% of all the revenue that's derived from the men's tournament goes to put on all the other championships that the NCAA has and all of its other sports.
Right.
You're in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's just gymnastics is a big deal.
Yeah.
Very big deal. That all the money from the men's tournament goes to not just gymnastics, but swimming, lacrosse, you name it, wrestling, all of them. And that tournament's got to be protected if you're them, and yet they tend to get in the way of it. The NCAA is all about the presidents and the president's control over intercollegiate athletics, and they don't know jack about squat.
No.
And the future of intercollegiate athletics moving forward, in my view, has got to be controlled by those that are involved.
Yeah.
Okay, presidents aren't involved. The NCAA people, they're not involved. They don't know. They have no understanding of the effects on people's lives when you have to make decisions at inappropriate times, like the portal, by example, but many, many others. And when the television contract that Turner and CBS comes to an end in 2032, I don't see a need for the NCAA to exist. I really don't. And I think steps now, slowly, methodically, are being taken for that to become an eventual reality.
So, Tim, a quick follow up to that. With the passion of college football here in the South, you would think that the majority of the revenue that the NCAA makes would be from football, but obviously it is from college basketball, and that is just
Well,
crazy.
well, no, but it's true.
Yeah,
It's true, Stephen, because that was another lawsuit by the NCAA. The
right,
universities of Georgia and Oklahoma filed a lawsuit in 1984, went to the Supreme Court. It was a 3-2 vote, and the Supreme Court ruled that the NCAA could no longer control the television rights for college football. And that's how cable television, that's how college game day, that's how the proliferation of college football and more than one game could be seen. Now, you're too young to maybe remember all that, but when I was growing up, we got one game only.
yeah.
And some weeks it was a regional game and other weeks it was a national game, but we only got the one game on ABC
Mhm.
because the NCAA controlled it. When that lawsuit was heard and read and won by the schools, the College Football Association was born, which was all the conferences besides the Big Ten and the Pac-12. They were the only two that were out. And the reason they were out was because they had the connection to the Rose Bowl.
Right,
But all the others galvanized along with Notre Dame to form the CFA. And that's how you got Saturday Night Football on ESPN and with the SEC. That's those years when Ron Franklin and Mike Gottfried were together and
yeah,
Vince Dooley and I were doing games in '89, and even Game Day. College Game Day was born in the fall of the idea was born in the fall of '86, just a year and a half after that lawsuit in '84. And I was the first host of College Game Day in '87. None of that happens if not for that lawsuit
right,
that was won by those two schools. So, yeah, fans have a belief that the NCAA has control over football. It does not.
right.
It has control over bowl games. It has control over when you can practice. It has control over the handing out of penalties for whatever rule has been violated. That's kept in place because the colleges wanted them to do that. The presidents needed and wanted the NCAA to govern their sport. But what we have found out over time is that having that neo-colonial body that is so disconnected from the real world, they don't know how to govern.
Yeah.
And the sport has outgrown the entity that is the NCAA. That's why we find ourselves in the position we're in today.
Well, Tim, look, man, go and enjoy going out for a round of golf tomorrow morning, and we will definitely catch up with you later on, and especially closer to the college football season, because this is going to be another wonderful year in college football.
You got it. Say hello to Heath for me. Tell him I'm
I-
sorry I missed him,
Yes.
and we'll catch up as we progress through the spring and summer. Have a great one, by the way.
Guys, that blew my mind that 80% of all of the revenue that the NCAA makes comes from college basketball and the NCAA tournament rather than college football. That is amazing, and down in the South, you would never think that that would be a possibility because of the hype and the excitement of college football. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed that little bit of a history lesson about the NCAA and, of course, the future of the looming NCAA because of the NIL and the transfer portal. Until next time, have a wonderful one, and I hope that you once again enjoyed that little tidbit right there from Tim Brando.